In this video we're going to look at rewriting equation of a line in the form y equals mx plus c. Previously we would have given our equation of our line answer in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0, which means that everything came to the left hand side of the equal sign. So an example of this could be 2x minus 3y plus 7 equals 0. Okay? And all that we're doing in this video is just rearranging this equation in the form y equals mx plus c. When an equation of a line is in this form, it allows us to find two key things about the line. The m, of course, we know is equal to the slope, so we can just read straight from that equation that m is equal to the slope. And the plus c is the y-intercept. So this actually tells us where that line crosses the y-axis. Okay. What's really important is that y must be on its own. It can't have a number in front of it, so we need to simplify it so that y is on its own and everything else is on the right hand side of the equal sign. Okay, so we're going to start off with example number 1. It says here 3x minus 2y plus 1 equals 0, give in the form y equals mx plus c. So all we're going to do is remove everything from the left hand side of the equal sign except for the y. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the 3x and I want to get rid of it, so I'm going to take 3x away, and whatever I do to one side I must do to the other. So I've just taken 3x away from both sides and I'm left with minus 2y plus 1 equals minus 3x. The next thing I'm going to do is get rid of that plus 1, so I'm going to take 1 away. And remember, whatever I do to one side I must do to the other. Okay, so I'm left with minus 2y equals minus 3x minus 1. Now, we're actually closer to this now, as you can see. The only thing we've left to do is get rid of this 2, this minus 2. Okay, and the way that we do that is we just divide everything by minus 2. Like so. Okay, be careful of your signs here. So minus 2 divided by minus 2 is plus 1y, or we can just write y. Minus 3 divided by minus 2 is actually plus 3 over 2, and we can just say 3 over 2x here. And then minus 1 divided by minus 2 is actually plus a half. So as you can see here now, we have it in the form y equals an x term plus a constant or a number. And remember that the number in front of the x term is actually the slope of the line. So by rearranging it, we can find the slope of this line and also the y-intercept. So where the line crosses the x-axis, and as you can see, it's at a half. Looking on, based on the fact that we can rearrange the formula now, we can actually solve more difficult problems based on that. So in example number 2, it asks us to write down the equation of the line with the slope of a half and the y-intercept equaling minus 3. Okay, so we know that an equation of a line is always in this form, y equals mx plus c. So if we know that m is equal to a half, and the c, the plus c, we can say, is equal to minus 3, then we can actually just sub that into this formula. Okay, so you can say y equals a half x minus 3. And we've actually found the equation of the line given the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, and finally, it says in this question, prove that L, the line L, 2x minus 3y plus 6 equals 0, is perpendicular to M, which is 3x plus 2y minus 4 equals 0. So what they've asked us here is to prove that these two lines are perpendicular. Now, in the previous videos we learned that perpendicular lines have sort of opposite slopes. Okay, opposite slopes. And what, if you remember, you flip and change the sign. Okay, so what we need to do here is find the slope of both of these lines, and we want to show that they're actually opposite. Okay, so I'm going to start off with L. So the line L is 2x minus 3y plus 6 equals 0. So I'm going to bring everything over to the right hand side, look just like I did in example number 1. So I'm getting rid of this 2x by taking 2x from both sides. So I have minus 3y plus 6 equals minus 2x. Then I'm going to get rid of that plus 6, so taking 6 away from both sides. So I'm left with minus 3y equals minus 2x minus 6. Okay, and then I'm going to divide everything by minus 3. And what I get then is y equals, remember 2 minuses will give us a plus, so 2 over 3x, and minus 6 divided by minus 3 is actually plus 2. Okay, so just note here that the slope is, the number in front of the x is 2 over 3. So we'll use that later on in the question. So line m then, we're going to reorganise it into the form y equals mx plus c. So m equals 3x plus 2y minus 4 equals 0. So again, I'm going to start off by getting rid of this 3x. Take 3x away, and whatever I do to one side I have to do to the other. So 2y minus 4 equals minus 3x. Then I'm going to get rid of that minus 4. I'm going to add 4 to both sides, like so. And finally I'm left with 2y equals minus 3x plus 4. And what I'm going to do now is divide everything by 2y. Sorry, by just 2. Okay, and what we're left with here is y equals minus 3 over 2 x plus 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, as you can see here, the slope is minus 3 over 2. And this is the important part. So, in order to show the slopes are opposite, our answer should be equal to minus 1 when we multiply them together. So you can see that if the slope of n is 2 over 3, and the slope of n is minus 3 over 2, they're flipped and they're different signs, okay? But if we can show that when you multiply those together, your answer should be minus 1, and that is the case. So we have actually proven that these two lines are perpendicular. Okay? The same can be said for parallel lines. If you need to show that two lines are parallel, all that you need to do is show that the slopes are equal. Okay, so for parallel lines, remember that we just need to show that the slopes are equal. So the parallel line one is probably a little bit easier because you don't need to do as much at the end of the question.